Quran contradicting each other, it is the latter verse that is the true verse, and it wipes off the first verse. So when the talking heads come on television, they don't tell you that according to Islamic law, all these new verses calling for the beheading of the infidels, for the hatred towards the infidels, that the infidels are not equal to Islam, that they are cursed by Allah, that they are apes and pigs.
Was all the last book.
It's all the last book, and that is the true book that the Muslims believe in, and it wipes out according to Islamic law.
Surah chapter 9?
It's beginning from chapter 5 on, and this is what wipes off all the nice verses in the beginning. And it is the law of abrogation, and under Islam, there's the law of kithman or taqiyya, which is lying under Islam, where a Muslim can tell a lie, and a lie is permissible as long as the lie basically prepares the way for Islam to be either victorious or to win an argument against an enemy. And this is why we were very concerned in the United States when Keith Ellison from Minnesota, the first Muslim congressman, was elected to Congress. Because under the practice of taqiyya, kithman or lying, where a Muslim can say any lie to protect Islam, because under Islam, if a practicing Muslim is a practicing Muslim, when he is faced between two decisions, either to protect Islam or protect his family, his country, or anything else, his allegiance is to Islam, not to his country. So if a congressman like Keith Ellison...
So how does he swear allegiance to the United States?
He swore on a Quran. And under Islamic law, obviously he's a practicing Muslim. And under Islamic law, you can literally lay your hand on the Quran, swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, fully knowing that you are telling a lie and nothing but a lie. But that lie is forgiven. You are forgiven as a Muslim.
Because it's in the furtherance of Islam.
It's in the furtherance of Islam. And if America is ever at war and a Muslim congressman has to choose between his loyalty to Islam or the Islamic Army or his loyalty to the United States, his loyalty at the day of judgment or at the day where he has to make a decision will be to Islam and not to any man-made religion or not to any constitution man-made by people. And that's what the American public needs to understand.
And yet we've elected someone like that to represent a state here in the United States.
Exactly. And actually at his victory party, the echo of Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest, which is the same words that the perpetrators of 9/11, Muhammad Atta, Ziad Jarrah, and all the other 19 hijackers of the plane, who kidnapped those planes and flew them into the World Trade Center and into the Pentagon, these were their last words that they uttered. Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest, Islam is supreme. And these are the words that were shouted at the victory party of Keith Ellison. This is what we need to educate the American public about. This is the politically incorrect truth that the Western media from CNN and the others do not want to bring out to the American public because it is not politically correct to do so.
So Brigitte, why is the American media, our political leaders, and whoever else we want to lump in that category, why are they either unwilling or unable to recognize this threat and deal with it head on?
Well, I'm going to give you an example about George Bush, for example. For 5.5 years after September 11th, George Bush called it the war on terror. He kept saying it the war on terror, which is a nonsense of a statement. Because if you take Islam out of the war on terror, we wouldn't have a war on terror. However, once, few months ago...
we don't want to say it's a war against Islam because we don't want to outrage 1.6 billion people on the planet.
Exactly. When he called it by its name, Islamofascism, a war declared by Islamofascists, it was our State Department that got upset with him about 8 months ago and told him, you can never say that word again because that is upsetting our Arab allies in the Middle East. And that was the last time we heard President Bush calling it Islamofascism. And he went back to calling it the war on terror. So we have all this at play. However, on university campuses, the reason why we're seeing in the press this brainwashing of Islam is because journalists are the product of our universities for the last 16 years. In my book, Because They Hate, I dedicate a special chapter speaking about the fifth column in the United States on our college campuses. And that is the influence of Saudi Arabia in basically preaching Islam within our universities. And they have been able to set up Middle East Study Department, political science departments, of course, which is what journalists take, and appoint Islamic professors and giving them tenures. And these professors are anti-America, anti-Israel, and this is why we are seeing the rise of anti-Semitism and anti-Americanism on American college campuses. So for the last 16 years, those eggs are hatching. Now our leaders and the journalists and the editors of newspapers are those graduates who graduated from those universities completely brainwashed to believing that America is the problem, Israel is the problem, we are evil, and it's those poor oppressed Islamic countries because of us are now the poor and downtrodden, and this is why they're taking on the Arab cause, and we are the big evil empire. And this is the result.
Well, I tell you what, it's important for us to take a look at the truth.
Exactly.
You know, it's like the Bible says that you'll know the truth will set you free. We have been and continue to be brainwashed here in America about what the truth is about Islam. We're not here to bash Islam. We're not here to condemn people of any faith, but we need to know the truth, and we need to know what we're up against politically, spiritually, religiously, and these roots go deep.
Exactly.
These roots go
you know,
deep.
David, the Bible said, "Be as kind as dove and as wise as serpents."
Yes.
We have mastered the be as kind as dove part because we are kind. We're a kind nation. We are a loving nation. We are a forgiving nation. But we need to master the be as wise as serpent. And being wise does not mean being hateful, does not mean being bashful. You know, when we talk about Islam, there's a difference between reporting facts and reporting opinion. When we talk about facts, facts speak for themselves. When we discuss terrorist activities done in the name of religion, these are factual information. This is not opinion. And when you report about facts, you need to understand that this is a problem we are dealing with. This is news information. This is to inform the American public about how we can be better prepared to deal with the Islamo-Nazism that's rising around the world, because no nation and no people want to be a part of allowing Islamo-Nazism to commit another Holocaust in our time or in our generation.
Amen. Brigitte, would you come back and be with us again tomorrow?
I would be delighted.